Hello everyone, this is Joel Davis with the United Medical Transportation Providers Group. Let me start by congratulating you. The reason why you're watching this video is you invested in Carlos's resource about how to build your own equipment rental business. So I congratulate you not only on investing in that resource, but being creative, thinking outside the box, and ways to diversify your business and develop new sources of revenue. For those of you that don't know Carlos, if you're not familiar with his story, let me give you a quick crash course. He was with UPS for 20 years. From what I understand, you were pretty much getting burned out on both sides of the candle, and you found my ebook, How to Build a $1 Million Medical Transportation Company Online. This was the very first ebook that I wrote, and this is what you really use. This helped propel everything you've been doing now.
Absolutely. And not did I just look for an income. I had to find an income opportunity that would replace what I was already making and then some. So this right here, just looking over your website and putting some numbers together, I realized this was probably the best opportunity for me. Not only because of the money per se, but based on what it was about. It was about delivering and transporting, and I was already into that field, been in that field for 20 years, and I just kind of fell right into this.
So since then, so you started your transportation, your medical transportation business in 2006, was it?
2006.
Okay. So what was it, a couple years afterwards, then you expanded into the courier business?
Then I went into the courier service because I realized I had a lot of downtime after some of my transports, and instead of having the vehicles just sitting and not making money, I wanted to find another way that I could put something else in there. So I just took a little bit of what I knew from UPS. Yeah, and I watched delivery services delivering stuff like pharmaceuticals and lab work and everything. So I looked into it and got some of that going for myself as well.
So you had your courier business for a couple years. And then, for those of you that don't know, Carlos is also author of How to Start Your Own Successful Courier and Small Package Delivery Service. This, ironically enough, is only offered in ebook format only, even though we printed up a copy for this video. But if you haven't yet invested in this resource, definitely go to www.startcourierservice.com. It's offered ebook format only, so go ahead and download it right, at your convenience whenever you're ready. Very popular. You've gotten a lot of response and feedback from people all over the country, emailing you and calling you up, talking to me about this one.
Absolutely, man. I got several emails, several phone calls, and I've congratulated them and really appreciate what they've called and told me the response that they had from getting their business started. As with the non-emergency, you do have some red tape and regulation. Yeah. With the courier service, is not, the regulation isn't as steep as this.
Exactly.
So
the profit margin is higher on the medical transportation, but in terms of getting started, the courier was more convenient.
Yeah, it's more convenient, and although the profit margin may be greater on this still provides streams of income.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's start bringing all this together in terms of how it influences the equipment rental business. Let me tell everybody, I personally have not owned my own equipment rental business. So this is where Carlos gets a big pat on the back for definitely being creative, looking at realizing an opportunity, seizing the day, and going ahead and making it prosper. But you talk about how the courier and the medical transportation helps you because it's literally a mode of delivery. That's how you deliver the equipment to the customers.
Absolutely.
So you generate revenue not only from the vehicle equipment, or the equipment rentals,
but also from the
from having to
deliver it. It's either I deliver it or they come and pick it up. So, and we have had doing pretty well with that as well.
So let's back up to the very beginning. How did you actually come up with the idea? How did you fall into the equipment rental?
Well, I attended the MDT seminar last year. It was the boot camp.
Okay.
And we were talking about diversifying and things that we could do. And then I read an email that you sent once upon a time that somebody said you can only go but so far with the non-emergency business. There's a limit to this, and you can't do anything else. So I beg to differ. Okay, but
at the time you already had the courier business. You had the medical transportation and the courier.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And so after attending the MDT boot camp, it's just like a light just came on. I knew I had in the non-emergency business, we use manual wheelchairs to transport hospital discharge.
Right.
Okay. But I started getting phone calls asking, do I rent wheelchairs? I thought it was absurd. I was like, no, I don't. But after I got another phone call from a different individual and coming to the boot camp,
Yeah.
light just came on. So I figured if I rented wheelchairs, then what else do they need?
So what happened with, you were telling me a story about how you got a good deal on a vehicle.
Yes.
And it came with 2 power chairs because
Power
the
chairs.
husband had passed away or something like that?
Yeah, guy wanted the power chairs out of his way. So he said, listen, if you purchase this van, I'll give you these wheelchairs. Now you
So
know
there was 2 of them?
2 of them. Okay, they were free.
Right. So
Absolutely
he
free.
threw them in and included it with the price of the vehicle.
The price of the vehicle, and they were free. So what I did is I stored them at my house. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I held on to them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I get the vehicles. I get the power chairs, and like I said, after I attended your boot camp, then I put it into play. Not only was I going to rent out manual wheelchairs, I started renting out power chairs, and then I just started buying used medical equipment.
So let me ask you, why have you, let's kind of fragment some of this and look at some different aspects. What made you go with used equipment versus going out there and trying to buy new all the time? Well, that's one thing you talk about in the ebook. You prefer going with the new and refurbished and reconditioned equipment.
Yeah, well, because if buying the used equipment and refurbishing the equipment, you buy and load, and then you're able to fluctuate your price a little bit, with you make it beneficial for your renters.
So you basically so instead of going to the new, paying top dollar and having the equipment depreciate, you already want it depreciated.
Well, look, here's the deal. Most people that rent stuff, like a wheelchair or something like that, it's usually right after surgery or something, so they don't need it for a long period of time.
True.
People are, and if you ever priced a new wheelchair, they're running like $300-400. Okay, well, buying used.
What about the price of like the power wheelchairs?
The power wheelchairs, if you've ever priced one of them, they're $3,000 to $5,000, which Medicare was covering, but they're at some point in time is going to cut that out. Right. So it's advantageous for them and myself to rent out refurbished and used.
So your initial overhead expense is cheaper if you start with the used equipment, right?
Absolutely.
And then the goal, what you're saying is most of these people, if they come out of the hospital for a surgery, they don't need to invest in it for the long term because the majority of the time they only need the equipment temporarily.
Yeah, at least 4 to 6 weeks tops.
Okay.
4 to 6 weeks. So, and by me using my courier service, I deliver it to them, set it up for them, and I go back and pick it up.
So before we go into the delivery, where are you getting the used equipment from?
Man, Craigslist is one of the best places to shop for stuff.
Really?
Yeah, Craigslist.
So where are you going on Craigslist? What type? Are you looking for keywords? What sections do you go to?
Well, it's a section called health and beauty,
okay.
Or I just type in what I'm looking for.
Like on the wanted section or something?
Yeah, on the wanted section, which is over to the left. You just type in and just put in keywords what you're looking for: wheelchair, hospital beds, whatever, and it usually brings up, those items for sale. Now, you have to be good at what you do. You have to go in and shop, bargain shop. You might see one on there for $500, but if you keep looking, you may see one on there for $200.
So how often do you see one for $500? You contact the buyer and you offer
Very
$350?
seldom, man. Very seldom.
Why, they're just stuck on the price or what?
Yeah, some of them are stuck on the price, but see, there's more than one ad in there. So I'm gonna look at the lowest one, but I also have to check it out and see what the quality is and if it's beat up or anything like that. But usually, I will. And now, if I can't find anything else that low, I will go with the 500, but I'll try to negotiate it down.
Okay, good.
And most people just want it out of their way. They'll take it.
So are you getting everything local, on Craigslist? Because Craigslist is predominantly for a local service. What about, are you trying to get anything,
honestly,
you said you had some stuff shipped from Texas before?
Yeah, Texas. I've even had to drive 100 miles to pick up something because it was worth it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, there are some equipment that you don't want to just rent out just anything that you can go buy from, the local pharmacy or something like that, like a cane or whatever. But the equipment that I purposely would rent would be the high dollar equipment that if you purchased it, it would be very high for you to purchase.
Like the Hoyer lift.
Yeah.
You started with the power chairs and the manual chairs, and since then, what type of equipment have you expanded into?
I purchased several hospital beds, semi-electric and fully electric. I purchased electric Hoyer lift or patient lift, for somebody that can't get out of the bed and you have to use a lift to pick them up. I purchased Jerry chairs. I purchased travel scooters. Somebody may come into town and they may just need a scooter for a day.
So give us an example of some of the type of deals that you're getting.
Okay, I'll give you a prime example. I purchased a Hoyer lift on Craigslist. It was it would just happen to be by luck, but I did find one. I found a Hoyer lift, and it was I purchased it for $100. The only thing was wrong with it was the batteries were dead.
A Hoyer lift is a new one's like at least almost two grand.
Yeah, $1,500 to $2,000. Well, I bought one for $100, and I replaced the battery for $40. And now one rental is paid for.
So that Hoyer lift, I was looking through your price list. That electric Hoyer lift, so you reconditioned the Hoyer lift. You got it for $100. Put a new battery in it for 40 to 50 bucks.
Sanitized it.
And I was looking at your price list before this video. I mean, you're renting that thing out at almost it was almost $300 a month.
Absolutely. One rental paid for it. Then everything else is profit.